my name's Gerald Vanderpuye. I'm Ghanaian, but I'm half Ghanaian, half Brixton, is what I like to say. I've lived in Brixton nearly all my life. I was born in Ghana, but came here about 8 years old. And yeah, I've been in everything I'm working on is kind of Brixton. I own 3 companies that is all based on Brixton. One is Impact Brixton. It's a Black-owned co-working space that houses about 400 entrepreneurs that work here. I own a second business called Brixton Alchemist, which is the rum company. And then I also write a newsletter for Brixton called Brixton Culture Capital newsletter, which is a story of how we got to the rum. We had a group of entrepreneurs that worked for Pernod Ricard, and they wanted to start a rum in Brixton. They weren't from Brixton, but they were friends and they were inspired by Brixton, came to Brixton, and they were like, hey, we would love to make a rum in Brixton, and we're looking for some advocates, and we're looking for a place for the distillery. And they joined my co-working space. So they're like, these are 2 middle-aged white guys from Richmond who were like, yeah, rum makes sense in Brixton. And it was like light bulb moment went for me. I was like, yeah, it does. And then I met the distiller, and then the distiller really educated me about how versatile rum is, right? Like, because when we think about Hennessy or even the brandies, they're great, and or even whiskeys, aged, and they're delicious, but we never think rum is that, like perhaps those in the Caribbean, obviously you know that, but I think for a lot of us in America and maybe the UK, I think it's only the last 6-7 years that we've recognized the versatility of rum. And what I mean by versatility is you can play with it. You can really do whatever you want with it, and you can get so many different types, right? It's just so much more varied. So yeah, I learned so much. They took on this space. I built a distillery for them, and then they started playing around, and then we just started tasting all sorts of different rums. I'd say about 5 years ago, I just decided that I'm just gonna stop drinking cognacs, which is what I spent a lot of time doing, and I'm just gonna learn about rum. So for 5 years, I've just been drinking rum, and I've been like learning about all sorts of rum, how it's made, where it's from, whether it's from molasses or sugar cane, and just tasting the best rums in the world. And I've just fallen in love with this product. And then 2 years ago, we decided that they weren't doing it right. They came to Brixton and they made something which was nice, but it wasn't Brixton. And so we were like, yeah, I'm sorry, but you can't do that. And so we're gonna have to do it ourselves. So we went on this very long journey of firstly, me leading it, someone who's from Brixton and being connected in Brixton, but more importantly, like working with about 30 different business owners, bar people, restaurant owners, chefs, everybody from Brixton, and saying, hey, what is a Brixton rum? If we had to make a Brixton rum, what is it gonna taste like? And this is a 2-year journey until we got to this product. This is a still that allows us to really distill about 100 liters, which means we probably get around 300 liters. It's roughly around 450 bottles, depending on if it's 70 CL. So when we're doing a bigger batch, we will do it in here, and that's a day's work. So really, one day we can have 400 bottles, wow. Right? Yeah, and so once we start selling, and if we start selling, we can produce a lot more at scale. Where we really spend most of the time is the micro stills, which everybody can buy. They're on Amazon, 200-300 pounds, and you can buy them. But it just allows you to experiment. You can play around and get so many different versions of it. So yeah, today's just a normal experimenting day with Matt. We're just playing around with different recipes to see. But in here, what you can see is botanicals. So when you're making rum or gin, because they're so versatile, we just keep 100 botanicals in here, whether you're looking for, I don't know, cassia, ginger, like, you know, lemongrass, like anything, any kind of botanical that can be used in gin or rum, we have it here. So it just allows us to play around with whatever we want. It's Brixton, so it's versatile, but it is a premium rum. We use 10-year-old rum, so we didn't cut no expenses. Yes, we went premium with rums, and then we distilled it here, and we hand bottled everything. For those of you that can't see it, this is the bottle. The bottle is, as you can see, the shape is of kind of a diamond. We thought of a diamond that's going through the Atlantic Ocean, right? And so we were thinking about the travels from the Atlantic Ocean over here, and we were like, yeah, we don't want no pirate shit, right? No, we want something positive that represents us. And then we were like, the character of the bag back is a character that I remember when I came to Brixton. His name's Juicy. He used to ride on a bike. Sometimes I'd see him with sugarcane. So we brought him back because we had to speak to him. He passed, unfortunately, but we had to speak to him, and he helped us capture the real soul of Brixton in the bottle. And so he's the one that you can see, and as you're drinking it through the bottle, sometimes he talks to you. For us, it's not even, I mean, I'm sort of leading this, but it's a collective. It's a company owned by over 70 to 80 people by the time we're done. It's going to be owned by Brixton. It's going to be, yeah, and it's made by Brixton. So it's about what happens when we come together, and hence the name, Brixton Culture Capital. And this is a profound sort of story that we want to tell, which is that Brixton has a culture, but that culture is a capital, and some people outside of this see it and they can come and take a bottle and put Brixton on it, and instantly it's more valuable. Brixton Village is worth apparently 80 million today, not because of the building, because of our cultural capital. So we want to make sure that we are capturing the cultural capital, and the money isn't leaving our community. It's taking decades of history and heritage and blood and sweat and people dying and fighting on the front line for Brixton to be what it is today. And today Brixton's on a map because of those people. And so somebody that isn't from here can't come, use the name and take the money out. So we were like, here, we need to keep this in here. So this is a movement that is more than rum.